The enemy has captured 3 settlements in the Zaporizhzhia region. This was reported by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Syrskyi. The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine noted that the enemy is using weather conditions, thick fog, to infiltrate between positions. Ukraine's defense forces continue to operate according to the principle of active defense. The enemy is currently focusing its main efforts in the Pokrovsk direction, but in the Zaporizhzhia region, the enemy has also become more active. The situation has significantly worsened in the Alexandrovsk and Huliapol directions.
Taking advantage of its numerical superiority in manpower and equipment, the enemy advanced during fierce fighting and captured 3 settlements. The soldiers of the South Military Group are engaged in grueling battles for Ravnopoli and Yablokovo.
Also, on the Telegram channel Sniper Plus says, run by the mayor of Henichesk, Stanislav Bunyatov, with the call sign Osman, it is noted that in 2026, the Zaporizhzhia direction could face a collapse from the right flank. Russia may take Pokrovsk. Putin is throwing everything into capturing the city, but he will pay a high price for it. This is the opinion of analysts from the Institute for the Study of War. American analysts note that the Russian military command has decided to conduct several offensive operations simultaneously across the entire theater of military operations, particularly in the Kharkiv region near Vovchansk and Kupiansk, in the northeast of the Donetsk region's fortified belt, and near the border junction of Donetsk, Dnipropetrovsk, and Zaporizhzhia regions. The Institute for the Study of War notes that the Russian military command has demonstrated its willingness to accept significant losses and the time required for such campaigns. But even such an exhausting tactic does not play into Russia's hands. Foreign Affairs writes that Vladimir Putin is a year behind schedule in capturing Pokrovsk, as he had planned to enter the city by November 2024. Despite their significant numerical advantage, the Russians were unable to quickly break through the Ukrainian armed forces' defenses. Every month, more than 20,000 occupiers are eliminated. According to the Ukrainian armed forces, there are currently more than 300 Russians in Pokrovsk.
The Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Syrskyi, spoke about the situation at the front and emphasized the increased enemy activity in the Zaporizhzhia region and the advance of the occupiers.
And now more details in our report. You are watching the Glavred channel. I'm your host, Yevhen Serov. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel.
Ukraine's defense forces continue to adhere to the tactic of active defense. Despite the enemy's superiority, Ukrainian units are successfully repelling attacks in most directions and are conducting search and strike operations in certain sectors of the front. The effectiveness of long-range weapon strikes is also increasing, particularly with the use of Flamingo missiles. This was reported by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Syrskyi, on Facebook. According to him, the greatest enemy activity is observed in the areas of Kupiansk, Siversk, and especially in the Pokrovsk direction, where about 40% of all combat clashes are currently taking place. Despite this, the enemy is suffering significant losses there. The aggressor has also increased activity in the Zaporizhzhia region, using weather conditions, thick fog, for infiltration between our positions. The situation has significantly worsened in the Oleksandrivka and Huliapol directions, where the enemy, taking advantage of numerical superiority in manpower and equipment, has advanced during fierce fighting and captured 3 settlements. The soldiers of the South Military Group are engaged in grueling battles for Ravnopol and Yablokovo. Appropriate support measures are being taken. The aggressor has suffered significant losses from combined fire, he stated. Syrskyi noted that holding every meter of Ukrainian land cost the Russian army hundreds of lives. In the area of responsibility of the South Military Group alone, the occupiers have lost about 800 soldiers and more than 100 pieces of equipment over the past 3 days. Overall, we are increasing the effectiveness of our domestic long-range strike systems, Neptune missiles, Flamingo, as well as rocket drones. This is causing the enemy a lot of trouble, he concluded. As Glavred wrote, the defense of Pokrovsk gave Ukraine the most valuable thing: time. Time for the evacuation of civilians, for the Ukrainian defense industry to launch serial production of new weapons, and for Western partners to coordinate their positions and begin producing the necessary armaments. This was stated by military expert and former SBU officer Ivan Stupak.